do I stock my pantry for a year? And not just for one person, for my whole family. How do you even do that? Hey friends, welcome back to Food Prep Guide. If that's you, if you've been trying to figure out how do I even start stocking my pantry for a year, I really hope to help you with that today. So one thing that helps me in a lot of different areas in life is reverse engineering. So starting at the end goal and working your way backwards to identify what steps you need to take. And eventually, if you keep going backwards, you'll get your starting point. That's how I approached food storage. Well, I messed up first. When I first started getting this idea that I wanted to really turn my pantry into every week having to go to the grocery store to storing and stocking food in bulk and cooking from scratch and not having to go to the grocery store as much. I first started by I went out and I bought a lot of rice, beans, pasta, and baking items. And what happened was I packaged them up, I put them in a closet, and they stayed there. And they stayed there, and they stayed there, and they stayed there. Now, if you are interested in storing a year's worth of food, you're probably in one of two camps. Number one, you're probably just wanting to save money as much as possible. You're probably tired of going to the grocery store every week. You're probably wanting to add a little bit more stability to your pantry so that you're not having to do without or make a whole lot of changes on the fly if something's not in stock. Or you're in a different camp where you feel like something pretty catastrophic could happen to our country in the near future and you're wanting to hedge against that. Either one, this method will work. But for me personally, I just wanted a simpler lifestyle. I wanted to not be so busy, always meal planning, always grocery shopping, having to go dedicate several hours a week to it. I wanted to fill my food. I wanted to cook from scratch, and to cook from scratch, I needed a lot of bulk staples on hand and not run out. And running out leads to having to buy takeout, having to send my husband out for a pizza or something like that, which increases our food costs each month. And so to eliminate that and to really cook from home 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, we switched to this a year's worth of pantry storage method. And the way that I did it, once I figured out that that was the wrong way to just go out and buy a bunch of stuff and then maybe hopefully figure out how to make meals with it later, I switched to okay, let's start with this meal that I already know my family loves and work backwards to calculate how much I need to stock to eat this meal ever so often. So the arbitrary number that I chose is just for my family is 14 meals. And I am only, when I'm talking about food storage, to simplify things and to simplify my budget so I can funnel my budget into just a few key areas and not all over the place, was to only pick 14 supper meals. What that means is we aren't having to repeat a meal, and we have 2 weeks between each meal. So we eat a meal on a Monday, we're not having to repeat that meal for another 2 weeks. And that was enough for us to fight food fatigue and not have to worry about eating the same thing over and over again if we had 14 base supper meals to rotate through. And that's what our food storage is personally based off of. Now what I did, I'm kind of a geeky person, spreadsheet loving person. So what I did was I took our family's favorite meals and I broke those down into charts. And then since I'm doing it every 2 weeks, there's 52 weeks in a year. Divide that, you get 26 weeks. So I multiplied each amount by 26 to identify how much do I need to stock of this to eat this meal every 2 weeks for a year. And that's how our food storage plan is set up. So what I did was, you see all these ingredients behind me. This is our one pot pantry spaghetti recipe. And what you see here is a printout of a page from our food storage meal plan beef edition. We have lots of food storage meal plans. We have actually, right now we have a chicken edition, a beef edition, and a meal in a jar, just add water edition. And in each recipe that we provide in those meal plans, we give you a chart where we break down the ingredient, provide any alternatives just in case you're missing that ingredient or maybe you have a food allergy or something like that. And then we give you the calculations for how much you need to stock that ingredient for a year if you want to eat this spaghetti every 2 weeks. So for the just a general overview of ingredients, we have our box of spaghetti, our pint of ground beef, we like our spaghetti extra saucy. So 2 jars of pasta sauce, our homemade sausage seasoning, which just gives a lot of added flavor and really beefs, no pun intended, beefs up the beef, which is really good flavor. Dehydrated chopped onions, dehydrated chopped bell peppers, and sliced mushrooms. And that is all of the ingredients for this one pot pantry spaghetti. And I'm just going to go through real quick and give you an idea of what does it look like to have a year's supply of this meal. And what that looks like is 26 pints of ground beef, just 1 quart of this homemade sausage seasoning, 1 quart plus 1 pint of dehydrated bell peppers, 1 quart plus 1 pint of dehydrated onions, 1 pint jar of garlic powder, just to give you a visual how much that's going to look like. 1 pint of garlic powder, 1 quart plus 1 pint of sliced mushrooms, dehydrated sliced mushrooms. Since we like our spaghetti extra saucy, we need 2 jars per recipe, so that means we need 26 quarts minimum if we only want to do 1, and what's that double? 52 quarts if we want to use 2 per jar or per recipe. And 26 boxes of spaghetti noodles. Now, once you identify your favorite meals and you break down your ingredients, doing it this way, you can even start to get a very realistic idea of how much it's going to cost to do this if you just go meal by meal. So spaghetti goes on sale for 99 cents all the time. You might even be able to get it cheaper where you are. So 26 boxes is going to give you a year's supply of this meal. So that's $26-ish plus tax. Same thing for pastas. These go on sale every now and then for 79 cents to $1, so $26-ish. So you can start to get an idea both of realistically volume, you know, how much do I need, but also a realistic idea of budget when you start with your meal and work backwards like that. So I hope that helps y'all. That has been a transformative perspective change for me when I was trying to plan out my pantry and make this big transition with my family. It helped me so much to reverse engineer. If you are interested in our meal plans, I'll be sure to drop a link down in the description box below where you can learn more about them. Okay, y'all. See y'all next time. Bye.